Boys and girls and Cougar parents, let's take a look at our Unit 11 study guide. It's pretty comprehensive and it covers everything that we've done so far, including word problems. Let's get started. Boys and girls, let's take a look at our first problem, number 1. It says, suppose that the water level of a river is 34 feet and that it is receding at a rate of half a foot per day. Write an equation for the water level, y, after X number of days. In how many days will the water level be 26 feet? Well, there's two things we want to do. First, it says set this up as an equation, and we're going to set it up an equation in the y is equal to mx plus b. M represents our slope, which actually gives us the direction of our line. B is our y-intercept, which is really a starting point of our line. Now, our line will go right through the y-intercept, but it gives us a good place to start. We've got to start somewhere with our line. It's continuous in both directions. Okay, so when I look at this, it says that the river starts at starting at 34 feet. That's its current depth. Okay, so that's our starting point. And it's receding. Now receding tells me it's going down, which would tell me that the slope's going to be negative. You're going down. It's decreasing. So it's negative. And then our rate, which is really our slope or direction, is a half foot per day. Okay, so there we go. Now we can set up this equation easy enough. Therefore, y is going to be equal to our slope, which is 1/2, and it's a negative 1/2 x, plus our starting point, which is 34 feet. Okay, now that's our equation for this line. But it asks us a very specific question. It says, in how many days, and x, okay, is our days, and y is our depth or level. Okay, and they're setting our level at 26 feet. They're saying, when will it be 26? In how many days? So they gave us the value for y, which is 26 feet. We know the slope is 1/2. What we don't know is what x is equal to, and our starting point is 34. So it's starting at 34. It's going down a half foot, or we're subtracting half a foot every day, which is our x variable, and we want to know when it will get to 26 feet at that level. Well, the first thing I need to do is this is a multi-step equation, so I'm going to subtract 34 from both sides. I want to isolate x, and that's the first step. First inverse operation that gets rid of 34, and then over here I will be left with a negative 8 is equal to negative 1/2 x. Okay, what's happening to our variable? It's being multiplied by a negative 1/2. What's the inverse of that? Multiplying it by 2, or 2/1. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other, so I'm also going to multiply the other side by negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 8 is a positive 16, and a negative 1/2 times a negative 2 is a 1x, or just x. So our answer is 16 days. Let's take a look at number 4. It says, Rufus collected 100 pounds of aluminum cans to recycle. He plans to collect an additional 25 pounds each week. Write and graph the equation for the total pounds y of aluminum cans after X number of weeks. What does the slope and y-intercept represent, and how long will it take for Rufus to collect 400 pounds of cans? Well, first of all, I wrote down our slope-intercept form here, which is y is equal to mx plus b. M is our slope, b is our y-intercept, and they tell us that y is going to be our total pounds of aluminum collected. Our slope, okay, is 25. That is our that's the increase. Okay, and we know that we're increasing because right here we have the word collect. So we're going to have a positive slope. And 100 pounds of aluminum, okay, collected, okay, that's what he's starting out with, at least before he starts doing his recycling plans. What we need to do is we need to find out how many weeks till he has 400 pounds of cans. And B, okay, we already said that's that right there. That's our starting point. Okay, how many pounds of aluminum he starts out with. Okay, that's our y-intercept. Well, let's plug away here. So y is equal to 25. Okay, the total pounds of aluminum collected is equal to the 25 pounds that he collects each week plus the 100 pounds that he started out with. Okay, so there's our equation for the line. It also, how long will it take Rufus to collect 400 cans? What we would do then is we would say, okay, we're setting our total pounds to 400, so we replace our y with 400 is equal to 25x plus 100. I would subtract 100 from both sides to begin to isolate my variable, and I'd end up getting 300 is equal to 25x. My next inverse operation would be to divide both sides by 25, and I would get x is equal to 12 weeks. And let's graph this. Let's graph this now. Okay, so y is equal to 25x plus 100. Okay, so we're starting out with 100 pounds, which would be right there. Okay, because this is going to be total pounds of aluminum in hundreds. Okay, so we start out with 100 pounds right there. And then if I were to say in 4 weeks, make x be 4 weeks, that would go up another 100 pounds. So it would be up to 200, because 4 times 25 is 100. 100 plus 100 is 200. So I'm going to go over here. This is my x, this is my y. When x is 0, y is going to be 100. When x is 4, y is going to be 200. When x is 8, that would be 25 times 8 is 200. 200 plus 100 is 300, so we're almost there. So 8 would put me up another 100. I'm up to 300. And then if I went all the way up to 12 weeks, 25 times 12 is 300, and 300 plus 100 is 400. So I'm out here 12, I'm up to 400. And I could connect these straight line, which would look like that. There's my line. Let's look at number 13. This is a real practical use of slope. This is the slope of a roof is called the pitch. Okay, so your carpenters and construction workers don't ask what's the slope of the roof, they say what's the pitch. Okay, pitch is a very specific term for slope in the construction field. Okay, so when you hear pitch, we're just talking slope. The slope of a roof is called a pitch and is defined as follows. The pitch is the rise of the roof, okay, from the peak of the roof to the base of the roof. Okay, that's the rise. It's basically the height of a triangle, and half the span of the roof. Now the reason why it's half the span is the front of the roof to the back of the roof, which is actually the base of these two triangles that make up the whole roof. So we just want to know, if we're looking at this line here, okay, we don't want the whole span, we just want half the span. Okay, this part right in here, okay, that would be half the span, because here's my rise and here's the run of this line. Okay, so find the pitch of a roof if the rise is 12 feet and the span is 30 feet. Okay, well, pitch or slope is equal to my rise, and it says the rise is 12 feet, and it says the span is 30, so if the span is 30, I'd want half of that, which is 15 feet. And I can reduce this. I can factor a 3 out of both of these, and I get it would be 4 feet over 5 feet. So it has a pitch of 4/5 or a slope of 4/5. And then the next roof says, if I want to find the pitch, it says that the rise is only 4 foot. So we're looking at a pretty low roof here. But the span is 24, and half of 24 would be 12. Okay, this is going to be a much flatter roof. And again, I can reduce both of these by 4, so I'd have 1 foot over 3 foot, or 1/3 slope or 1/3 pitch. And that's pretty much it. I hope that was helpful, and I hope Josie here is helpful too. I'll see you tomorrow in class. Bye-bye.